Hello, welcome to Oceanic Oracle. My name is Ari and today I'm going to show you how I book journal. I am an avid book journaler. I mainly use my book journal to help me form my ideas on the books that I've read this month. So the stuff that I'm actually going through today, I'll be creating 2 spreads, but I'll only film one of them because they relate to books that I have read in April. So you're getting a little bit of a sneak peek, but I just finished The Girl with Make-Believe Husband by Julia Quinn this morning. So I thought I would show you my process of actually creating a spread for it. I sort of take images that I find online, so I always have the book cover in the corner because this helps me. I'm very visual, so I know which book it relates to just based on the cover. Like this one here is here. So I know exactly where my book placements are. I also have the ratings for my books underneath. I'm not sure if you can really see that. But then I also discuss things that I liked and things that I don't like, so I can remember for when I'm going back and filming my wrap-ups. The way that I usually set things up is I have the title, the author's name, and then I break down the genres that it links to. I break down the feelings that I had while I was reading it and the pacing, so it helps me recommend these books based on things that you may be looking for in books aside from the genre, because I know some people prefer slower books, some people prefer faster books, but I do all of that to help in the recommendation process, and also just to, well, as I've said, I gather my thoughts. So I talk about the characters, I talk about the things that I think make up a good book, and that helps me form my basis for my videos. So today I'm going to be creating a spread for The Girl with Make-Believe Husband. So I'm going to take you along on my journey. As you can see, I've already written the title and the author's name down, but I will be showing you how I actually create a spread with the images that I find. I mainly collect images from Pinterest because that's the easiest thing for me to do, and once I have these images on Pinterest, I compile them onto a document which I then go and print on my scrap paper that I just have around. So I go and I print those off and then I stick them in my journal. As you can see, it's sort of like expanding. I just really enjoy doing this sort of thing. I also have lots of scrap paper around my house, mainly lined paper, so also to use up the lined paper that I have in old notebooks. I also use them in my spreads, so it just works out. I find this a really fun and relaxing process, and I thought, why not share it, because it might be helpful to some people, because I think journaling for me is very relaxing, and being able to relax and take some time to myself to think critically about things that went on in certain books really helps me. And I think if you're interested in this sort of stuff, maybe you should give it a go, because as I said, I find it really fun. Welcome to my laptop screen. So you can see here, this is my Pages document. I always use Pages documents when I am compiling stuff, because Word is very, I know there are ways to use Word to make it less restrictive, but I find that Pages for me just works better. I've done all my collages and things on Keynote, so this is just based on what I used to do at school. I find Pages much more freeing than Word, because Word can be very restrictive because you can only print within the margins, whereas Pages lets you put things absolutely everywhere. So first off, I'm going to stick my title in, and I use the little measurements on screen to work out how big it's going to be. So I want it to be about 4 centimeters wide, as you can see there, and I'll do the same with the other book that I have read. The best thing about Pages is that you can make them the exact same size very easily. So there we go, we've got the 2 cover pages there. And now, as you can see here, I have a few images that I found on Pinterest. So I have a pocket watch with a letter, I have crocuses, picture of the countryside, and an afternoon tea room. all of these sort of relate to the books that they're a part of. So I try to drag images or have images that relate to things that happen in the books, because it really it helps me with my remembering, and I enjoy stuff like that. So I am going to shrink that down a bit because these are going to be on the same page. And then I'm going to go in with the afternoon tea screen. Yeah, I like that size. And finally the countryside. So each of these things relates to the books in a certain way. And for me, as I've said, I like associating things with the books. So these two are related to The Girl with the Make-Believe Husband, and these two down here are related to Because of Miss Bridgerton. I guess if you've read the stories you might know, but if not, then it doesn't matter. So as you can see, I have finished my collage, so I'm going to go ahead and print it. Once this is printed, I'm going to swap you to my desk cam and we will get started with the actual process of journaling. Hello, welcome to my actual journaling station, I guess. I have gone and I have cut out the pictures that I want. So as you can see, I have a pocket watch. I have the cover, which is going to go up in the corner, and I'm just going to muck around with the arrangements for this. So I'm actually thinking might do it this way. So I just muck around without gluing any of them down. So I also have that option. Maybe that looks better there. So as I've already mentioned, each of these images has something to do with the actual story. I always associate certain things with the story that I've read. It's very useful for me because I'm very visual, and I enjoy that visual aspect and having that and remembering certain things that go on in books, or be it characters, be it important plot devices, be it anything really. So my title, or the cover page, always goes in the corner near the title for me. It just makes sense for my brain because I like to have that. It helps me with my library and helps me with my association. I really enjoy pictures. They just work for me and they stimulate my memory a bit more. So this one is going here. So I also go over my pictures with the glue cap, because then I can smooth out the glue that has gone onto the page. And finally, I have my crocuses. I'm going to try not to spoil what goes on in the book because some of you might want to read it. But yes, I thought I would show you how I actually set this up. So as you can see, I now have a certain amount of blank space that I can use to write my review. I write my titles, and I also write the second bit in my with my Fudonosuke. So I've already written the genre, and the genre for this book and for the other book that I read, Because of Miss Bridgerton. They're both part of the Bridgerton prequel series, and they are both historical romances. So the genre is pretty self-explanatory. The next bit I go is feelings. So I use my cursive. I write in cursive, and then I write down the feelings that I associate with it. I use Storygraph, which is really useful because Storygraph is a review site that actually lets you figure out what feelings you associate with the book. So the feelings that I put down here were emotional. Really, it's mostly emotional. So I put down emotional, and that was my general feelings in regard to this book. And then I put the pace down. So is it fast paced? Is it slow paced? This book was definitely slow paced because it was a slow burn book. Anyway, now that those three aspects are done, I put that away and I get my handy dandy writing pen out and I figure out what I want to say. I like thinking about the characters, the atmosphere, the writing, the plot, how intrigued I was, the logic behind the characters' choices, and my overall enjoyment. The system that I use to review my books is called the Core Pile system. If you're unaware, G from Book Roast, who I watch, she creates this spreadsheet at the beginning of the year and she uses it to help her determine the star ratings. So I use that to help me figure out where these books lie. It's helped me become much more well defined in my star ranking system, because it helps me narrow down exactly what I'm feeling in regards to those characters. If they're like the best thing ever, which, because I am also a mood reader, can sometimes be my enjoyment set at 10, but like the writing is like at a 7. So it's a scale from 1 to 10 for each component. I do also write my core power scores in the bottom corner from time to time if I have space. The past few I haven't, but you can see here I have. So that is like my explanation of what I write. Mostly I focus on the, like, for me, I mostly talk about the characters, particularly with romances. I talk about the characters and the relationship the two characters have, which helps me figure out where I'm going. I need to put my star rating on here. So I always put my rating underneath the title, or I have been doing that for the past month. So I go in with a darker grey because I have 2 grey mild liner brush pens. So this book got 5 stars from me. So I put 5 stars at the bottom, which helps me when I'm looking back and giving my reviews. So I put my star rating under the title, and then I have things that are significant to the book. And then I just start writing. So I'm going to write for a bit. I will film the process, but I will speed it up, and then I will check back in with you afterwards and talk about the final page, I guess. Okay, I'm sorry about the noise. There's some roadworks going on outside my house. Well, not roadworks, but building is going on. Anyway, that is my page done. So I write out a few paragraphs based on my feelings, and I've also added the core power score up the top. I'll probably go over that in a bit of colour. But anyway, that's it. And I'm going to pass you back to me in the chair, because then we can finish this video. Okay, I'm back in my room. Again, I'm really sorry about the noise. They're building something in my car park, and I don't know if it's supposed to be a new house. Anyway, we're here because I have, as you saw, I have finished the spread for this book right here. I'm quite happy with it. I am actually I like the fact that I didn't need to add a lined bit of paper. I actually think that this setup worked out quite well. I also have to fill in this section because of Miss Bridgerton, but that's going to be I'm going to do that by myself because I enjoy taking my time and focusing on this. I hope this was sort of interesting, because I think if you're interested in journaling, if you're interested in getting your thoughts out onto a page, I highly recommend it. It helps me immensely with my thought process that goes into my reviews. It's a step that I really enjoy taking. I know some people might prefer to just get on camera or start typing up their feelings in the way that comes to mind. If you're like that, that's great. I find journaling and the creative process behind finding images and laying them out and figuring out what I want to say, I just really enjoy doing that sort of thing. And I hope that you've enjoyed coming along with me during this process. I've had fun. Yeah, it gives you a bit of an insight as to what I do in regards to my reviews. Now that that's over, I guess we should get on with the outro. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe if you want more bookish content. I hope you have a wonderful day or night, depending on when you're watching this. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.